Now, I genuinely think that The Matrix is probably one of the movies where you can say with a straight face that it wasn't supposed to be good. And I have very good reasons for saying this. Now, there's going to be some spoilers, which I consider to be kind of minor considering that they happen very early on in the movie. So, if you choose to stay in this video, you're not going to lose that much. But in the beginning, Neo is trapped within the Matrix and he has the life of a video game programmer. So, in order for him not to remember his previous life, this video game programmer within the Matrix has created a video game called The Matrix. So, everything that happened before this movie is actually in that game. And this is because every time he has a dream and he dreams of Trinity or he dreams of Zion, his psychologist can tell him, you're just talking about your game. So, where am I going with this? Well, there's a big plot point in the beginning where the movie becomes a little bit too meta, if you will, and kind of cringe as well, where they are saying that Warner Brothers are asking Neo to make a sequel to the Matrix game. And Neo obviously doesn't like this because he considers the game to be complete. The story was told, so there is no reason for him to actually make a sequel. But apparently, Warner Brothers can do this with or without him. So if he doesn't want to do it, then he can quit. But they're going to make the sequel anyway. So Neo has to now make this sequel by force, because otherwise someone else is going to take the IP and is probably going to do something worse with it. And obviously this is just a meta commentary where the Wachowski sister, whatever her name is, because one of them wanted to go with the project, the other one didn't, is probably complaining about the fact that Warner Brothers actually wanted a sequel to be made. And there is another commentary later on where one program, the French guy, forgot his name, but he actually starts ranting, and he does this during an action scene, which really pissed me off. But he starts ranting with the fact that there are no more original stories anymore. Everything is a prequel or a sequel. There's no originality. Like, everything is a reboot or a reimagining. So yeah, this is a meta commentary about the Wachowski sister, which is basically saying that fuck this shit. And there's also, in the beginning, the whole thing where you get to see Neo becoming almost suicidal and very depressed over the fact that you have this corporatization of what used to be his project. So everyone around him is saying, well, what is the Matrix? Oh, it's a critique against capitalism. It's a critique against gender. It's a critique on fascism. It's bullet time. And they start using the word bullet time this and bullet time that and bullet time, bullet time, bullet time. So in other words, it shows how they create the movie in a corporate room where it's not about the soul of an artist. It's not about a vision. It's exactly what I've been saying on this channel for so long. It's just like having a board where people are just throwing ideas of what they think is popular and what will sell. So in other words, you don't create the movie like they used to, where the movie is about entertaining people and doing something that the artist finds entertaining, so clearly the people will as well. No, now it's trying to do focus groups and trying to figure out what people like and trying to tap into that, like whether it makes sense in the story or not. So yeah, I do think that the Wachowski sister at least didn't try to ruin the IP, which is something that you don't notice with the Star Wars trilogy, which did ruin the IP. And in fact, there's even a line in the movie where Neo manages to return to the city, and he is saying, so what I did didn't matter. Like, nothing that I did matter, which is pretty much like what happened in Terminator. I mean, John Connor, you think he saved the world, but no, he gets shot by another Terminator, and then nothing that he did mattered. The Judgment Day comes again. But in this situation, though, they actually have this dialogue, and it says, no, like, what Neo did matter, because now the machines did respect their peace treaty with Zion, except that, time advances and things change, and the machines actually went to war with each other, which is something that people didn't expect to see. And some of the machines from that war, they separated and they lived with the humans, which is kind of weird considering the fact that the machines were supposed to represent fascism, I guess. So I guess it was like fascists fighting with each other, but then some fascists allying with the humans, which is very haram compared to left ideology, because they believe once a fascist, you can't return. They don't believe in redemption or mercy or whatever. But like my point is that there is something there where the main writer did not like what Warner Brothers was doing, and they decided to give a big middle finger at Warner Brothers. The only problem is that it's with your expense. And there are people who are interpreting the colors in the movie, like, for example, this picture of Morpheus right here. They're saying that he went full libertarian because of the color orange, which represents libertarianism. I don't know about that. I think it's a little bit too far-reaching, but I wouldn't be surprised because there's a lot of color going on in the movie. And this is, again, something that I think actually did break the IP a little bit, and that is the fact that the Matrix is constantly green, like it's kind of like in Breaking Bad, where they go to Mexico and it's constantly a hue of red to symbolize that they're in Mexico. Here, when they're in the Matrix, it's a constant shade of green. But the thing is, like, the Matrix was supposed to be like the real world. It was supposed to fool you that you're in the real world, not that you're in the Matrix. But here, you get to see that color green. I guess maybe it can be explained with the fact that the writer just didn't want to go back to the Matrix. And they just wanted to move away from this IP. It's done. It's over. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit sad, to be honest, because I wouldn't mind seeing a good sequel to The Matrix. And you can make a good sequel. I mean, there are... there is that video game, The Matrix Online, which has a very interesting story after the movie. So there is a story to be told, just, meh. I don't know. Like, sometimes spin-offs would be great. Like, why not just make a prequel where the humans are fighting the machines? That would have been interesting. Or just forget the Matrix altogether. Just go into the future after everyone has been unplugged and go with the story from there. You can do things, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see any of those. I'm really curious if this movie is even going to manage to sell. And even if it does sell, by the way, people will have such a bitter taste in their mouths that I don't think they're going to buy the next sequel if that ever happens. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.